tell you about Ahab, the Arab, the sheik of the burning sands. He had the emeralds and the rubies just a-dripping off of him, and a ring on every finger of his hand. He wore a big old turban wrapped around his head and a scimitar by his side. And every evening about midnight, he'd jump on his camel named Clyde and ride silently through the night to the Sultan's tent, where he would secretly meet up with Fatima of the Seven Veils, the swingin'est #1 dancer in the Sultan's whole harem. Him and her had a thing going, you know, they've been carrying on for some time now behind the Sultan's back. And you could hear him talking to his camel as he rode out across the desert, and his voice would cut through the still night desert air, and he'd say, which is Arabic for, hey baby. And Clyde, he'd say, well, he brought his camel to a screeching halt at the rear of Fatima's tent. Jumped off Clyde, snuck around the corner, and into the tent he went. There he saw Fatima laying on a zebra skin rug, with rings on her fingers and bells on her toes and a bone in her nose. Ho, ho. There she was, friends and neighbors, laying there in all her radiant beauty, eating on a raisin and a grape and an apricot and a pomegranate and a bowl of chitterlings and 2 bananas and 3 Hershey bars, and sipping on an RC Coca-Cola, listening to her transistor and watching the grand old opera and reading Mad Magazine while she sang Does Your Chewing Gum Lose Its Flavor? And Ahab walked up to her and he'd say, which is Arabic for let's twist again like we did last summer, baby. And she'd say, oh, crazy baby. Round and around and around and around and around and around and around. All of a sudden the Sultan walked in. Ahab knew that this was the end. Him and Fatima, they were caught by surprise, and the Sultan had fire flashing out of his eyes. But the Sultan charged at Ahab, intended to make a dent in his head. But he fled with Fatima, and out of the tent they went. They jumped on Clyde, started to ride, cutting out across the sand, with the Sultan's whole army in hot pursuit. On and on they ran. Well, to make a long story short, they got away, 'cause there weren't no animal alive what could keep up with Clyde once he got started. He was the swiftest steed in the whole desert, baby. And he made it across the border where Ahab hopped all these rubies and emeralds, and he bought a swinging little split-level plaid, and they lived happily ever after. And that's the story about Ahab, the Arab, the sheik of the burning sands. Ahab, the Arab, the sheik of the burning sands.